going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Check Swing Podcast with myself and, of course, the brains and brawn of the situation. My man, Coach Santa, is over there holding it down in Baltimore, having big fun.
Big fun in Baltimore.
Well, what's going on, man? How you been?
We're telling our age with that, man. We're telling our age with that.
Hey, I always tell people, look, it don't matter how old you are, how young you are. You ain't in my age group, so it don't really matter.
Amen to that. Oh man, I am A-OK. The weather's starting to break, and then tomorrow there's the threat of tornadoes, so I'm good.
Say what? There's some tornadoes supposed to happen tomorrow?
So no, there's some storms supposed to come in tomorrow, and it's like, yeah, don't be surprised. There's a pop-up tornado or two, making it sound all like, oh, it's just Wednesday.
Like Baltimore. It's big fun in Baltimore. Huh?
Big fun in Baltimore. Baltimore.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that. Welcome back. Like I said, welcome back to the Check Swing Podcast. We are here. We are live. It is live. It is 2. We got a little bit of a late start, like a minute and a half, maybe. But we are here. It's 8:04 p.m. on March the 4th. That's how you can tell it's live. We have a number you can call 669-275-0548. If you have any opinions on some of the things that we're saying, questions or comments that you want to give, you can also give them in the chat, like this, like CJ Zombie did just here. So yeah, we're gonna get the show started. We got some things to talk about. We have we have a spring training report from Miguel, of course. A couple NBA players out for the season, of course, one being here in Philadelphia that we will touch upon, but one that just came down the pipe like earlier today, maybe this morning, this afternoon, that you may or may not have heard about. Eagles are making some roster moves, and so are some of the other teams in the NFC East division. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. And of course, an interesting topic that has been that we've had on this show, the robo umps, the ABS system, I think it's called ABS, the GPS, ABS, whatever it is. We had a couple of videos. We have a video that we're going to show you and we're going to talk about. And then there's, of course, a new sliding rule. They keep changing the rules in baseball. I don't understand why, but there's a new sliding rule in baseball. And, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it popping. We're gonna get it happen. Miguel, are you stumping me today? Look like he got something. He got something ready too. He's got something ready. We're gonna start off the show real quick. We're just gonna mention a quick mention of Jimmy Johnson decided that he's gonna retire from Fox Broadcasting, doing the football games on Sundays. He's been around for 30. He's been doing it for 31 years. That's crazy to feel like that's 30, because even after he left the Cowboys, he coached for a couple more years with the Dolphins.
Mm-hmm.
You forget that he coached with the Dolphins after the Cowboys. And to think he's been on TV 31 years is crazy. Like, he's been on TV he's been on TV for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And not one time in his 31 years did he see. No, that's not.
Wait,
no,
say
31 years. In his 31 years, he did not see his team make it to the NFC Championship game.
No. This 26 will be the 30th anniversary of their last Super Bowl. So January of 26 will be 30 years.
Well, whatever it is, it's amazing to think that a team of that caliber just hasn't. And then I didn't mean to make this a Cowboys thing. My bad, y'all. My bad, Cowboys fans.
No, don't apologize.
I apologize. I sincerely didn't really mean to make it about them, but it's not
about making it about them. It's that they usually make it about themselves. But here we are again, with all the crap talking from the beginning of last season, and none of them show up on our show. None of them respond to text messages. They're all cowards. This is why Cowboys fans are considered cockroaches, because
I don't even show up on the show because sometimes they can get emotional, and I don't want to. I don't feel like dealing with that on this on this show. I don't feel like hearing that.
You don't. Wait a minute. You don't like dealing with an emotional Cowboys fan?
No, not at all. Not at all.
You lost your luster, man.
I probably have, but not at all. I'd rather just not deal with the Cowboy fan. I'm just saying.
This is similar to when I found out that you were a Braves fan growing up. There's a certain things about you when I found out about them. It's just sorely disappointing.
Hey, listen, I stand on it too. Yeah, I was a Braves fan growing up. I have my reasons. We talked about it on this show. I liked them growing up. And let me put this out there for you. We were not hating the Braves then because we weren't even in the same division as them at the time. So we weren't even hating them at the time.
Touche. Which was dumb at the time, which is why I'm glad that it didn't help us any, but once they realigned and had the Braves in the East like they should have in the first place.
Because they were in the West, right?
Yeah. And they were the reason that when we faced the Braves in 93, remember San Francisco Giants had 103 wins and still didn't make the playoffs.
Because it was a 4-game series with the Braves. Right? And all they had to do was win one of them or something. The Giants.
Right. And the Giants ended the season in LA, and I think they lost 3 or 4. They had to win they had to win like 2 out of the 3 or something crazy.
Something like that. I do remember that. I actually remember being at my friend's house down the street from my house, watching the highlights on his TV, trying to just happy as a clam. Anyway, let's get back to it. Today the Eagles extended running back Saquon Barkley, basically giving him this is not a video, is it, Miguel? Saquon?
No.
Okay, so I can pop that in there.
Yeah, just don't move the slides because it says one thing, but I'll get back to it later.
No problem. You control the slides, but they give Saquon a 2-year extension. Part of me, I'll be honest with you, Miguel. He deserves it. Okay. Part of me feels like this is a bit of a troll to the Giants. Part of me feels like it's a bit. I mean, he deserved it. Don't get me wrong. He deserves. What he played his behind off.
Because it's a hell of
it's a bit of a troll to the Giants too.
Because it is a hell of a troll. Because now, not only did we take your best running back, not only did he outperform the contract that we gave him, but he's being rewarded for that. And then we still, on top of that, have room to possibly even have a conversation on bringing in like a Myles Garrett or something like that. So it's absolutely a troll.
That's a conversation we should have there. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think so. But we can talk about that in a minute. Congratulations to Saquon Barkley getting that extension. He definitely earned it. He deserved it. The Giants wanted him to, or not wanted him, but they allowed him to shop the market. He did. Found a home in Philadelphia. Philadelphia paid him as if they appreciated him, and now are extending him as if they appreciate him. So, and I mean, I'm just thinking about from the Giants aspects, like, yo, the guy that y'all didn't want now doesn't want y'all. And I'll leave it at that. Hall of Famer Rob Battle is in the building. He's joined us. What's going on, Rob? How you been, brother?
What's going on? My apologies.
It's all right. He's running on Embiid time. Don't worry about it. It's a basketball thing.
Had to pull out the Chef Boyardee skills out before feed these little hooligans running around.
I can dig it. Well, welcome back, brother. Welcome back. This is one thing that I know. I shouldn't say making him happy. He could say it for himself, but I know he probably was kind of pleased to see Darius Slay and James Bradbury both been released by the Eagles. Counter. What's the word I'm looking for? It's happening June 1st or something like that. Whatever the case is.
The fiscal.
You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm trying to say. But it saves them money on the cap if they if it happens after June 1st. So, but now they get time to negotiate another deal. Say what?
Cap casualty.
Okay, that's not what I was looking for, but I like it. I want to get Rob on because I know Rob has some things to say about Slay during the year. So, Rob, when you saw that they let go of Darius Slay, how would you feeling, man? What are your thoughts on it? And do you think they're signing him right back? I think Rob is frozen. Well, then I'll ask you, Miguel.
Okay.
I'll ask you. How do you feel about Slay and Bradbury being let go?
It's time, and you can't really say too many bad things about either one because I think the way that Darius Slay he's handled it kind of like a pro. He said, I think at the beginning of last season or during the offseason, how I think he was asked the question, well, do you feel like, they're drafting your replacements? And his response was, yeah, they should be. I don't plan on, being in the league forever. And if these guys wind up outplaying me, then kudos to them. My job is to be a veteran and, to be their guide and stuff like that. So it's like, wow, to hear that from your veteran. And I know James Bradbury really has kind of gone down since the Super Bowl, the first Super Bowl, after that damn bogus call, whatever. But even he's handled it like a pro. He took the call like a pro. He said, "Yeah, I did it. I didn't think they would call anything, but I did do it. I got to take responsibility for it." So, touche to them. They knew that this time was going to come eventually. They didn't, harp on fans or anything like that. So, I applaud them. Actually, I applaud them for whatever they were able to give to Mitchell and to the Gene and the younger guys filling in. And who knows? Darius said he only wanted to play one more year. He may come back and give him a team-friendly deal to finish out his career as an Eagle, and we'll see what happens. Because I think there was a big shock, not last season, but the season before. Remember, they cut Fletcher Cox. So oh my God, they cut Fletcher Cox, but they did that to renegotiate his contract, and it gave Eagles more cap space to get more players, yada yada yada. So, because even the deal for Saquon. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but how do we know what do we know about Howie? He knows how to kick the can down the road when it comes to the salary cap. So this doesn't hurt them as much as it would any other team like your Dallases or your New Yorks or anything like that. So
yeah, I do feel like Slay will probably be back. I feel like if he's offered the right price, he's gone. He's going to.
Did you hear the story? He was supposed to be a Baltimore Raven after the Super Bowl last time. He was going to leave, whatever. I think there was some sort of deal on the table, and the Italian Stallion, Big Dom, allegedly had called Darius Slay and said, "Hey, listen, man. I know." you got a deal on the table, but hey, the Eagles need you. Like we want you and we need you. And then he wound up getting extended and stuff like that. So apparently, Big Dom carried some clout on the sidelines. He's not just the paisan of the sidelines, but he's the paisan of the family unity of in the locker room. So it was just interesting story I read.
It sounds like, I don't know what Rob's gonna sound like he's opening some peppermints over there. I'm not really sure. I'm really sure. Sound like,
electrolyte.
Trying to be quiet. Sound like he was opening some peppermints over there. So I mean, Slay's getting old, right? Not getting old, but he's older for his position. He's older for the NFL. Saying he probably could play more years, but playing at the level that he would play or he would like to play, he knows those days are well behind him. Team friendly deal could be possible. Could he possibly want to go after another ring? A team-friendly deal would kind of lend to that. Bradbury,
he's done. He gone.
Yeah, he fell off like fast. I don't know what he fell off fast. Because when he first came, he was decent, but then he just fell off really fast. I don't know.
And remember, they decided to keep him on the squad. They shifted him to safety, which isn't really his natural position anyway. And then they were kind of overloaded there, so that he became the odd man out.
Yeah. And the youth movement. I mean, the guy's coming through Blankenship. He's in his like third or fourth year. DeJean and Mitchell coming into their second year. So you got Isaiah Rodgers. I believe Isaiah Rodgers is going to be looking for a contract too, I believe. So he might get a little bit of money there. Oh, excuse me, guys. Rob, we didn't get your opinion on Slay. We know you had some things to say about him earlier in the season. How you feel about Slay being released by the Eagles?
I think it was an inevitable move. And like you guys said, the only way I'm interested in seeing him come back is if it's on a league minimum or whatever contract is favorable for the team. I will say this: he turned out better than before. Like last year, he showed. See, you can't unsee last year. I can't unsee last year. That shows me who you really are. Things went really well this year, so you didn't really hear from him. But when things aren't going well, that shows who your real character is. So I don't feel that way, but I do feel like, you didn't hear from him this year. I don't really have much to comment outside of, what was transpiring on the field. But I think it's a good move. Now, if he wants to come back, at a favorable contract for the team, then that's awesome. He can lend some leadership, some help continue to bring our young guys along. But other than that, I'm all for it. I'm it's a great move. Now, I think he would be crazy not to come back. I mean, unless it was some type of crazy number like, yo, we'll give you 15 and you're only going to get 3 at the Eagles, then I don't know how much he's made over his career, but I mean, even then, you got to think about it. Even then, you got to weigh it. Like, all right, 15-3, I get to be here on a contender. I'm not going to have as much wear and tear on my body. You know what I mean? Because with the money comes more responsibility.
Yeah.
If you going somewhere and they paying you 15 for the year, you're the guy.
Mm-hmm.
But
unless he goes to somewhere like the Raiders, where he's probably not going to be. I mean, he'll be expected to be the guy, but they're going to stink. You know what I mean? A team like that is going to stink.
Yeah.
Him coming back, I feel like he's still effective. I feel like he had a decent year. I mean, sometimes DBs get cooked. We've seen plenty of DBs get cooked. It happens. The best DBs get cooked every now and then. But I feel like he was still playing effectively. There was a play, I want to say, I think it was in the Super Bowl. It's in the Super Bowl playoffs. I forget which game. Where I think somebody made the wrong read on defense and went a different way. And a guy was open and Slay saw it. He picked it up real quick and ran over. He was able. I think it was the Rams game, but he was able to pick it up and deflect the pass because the guy was open. He was able to catch up to the play. So he still has his smarts about him. And a lot of times, especially playing sports, when the physical gifts start to fade a little bit, you got to know the game. You got to be able to know the game so your reactions can really, take over for what your physical ends up lacking. Staying with football, we have a team down the road, down 95, known as the Commanders, and one of our old friends here in Philadelphia, not old friend like he used to play for us, but one of our old friends like he had always had a lot to say about us. Ends up going to the Washington Commanders. I think he was traded, and
for a fifth rounder.
Yeah.
It's kind of Debo's kind of old, ain't he?
He shouldn't be that old.
He's old and he's a running back.
Debo's a little old, and it's fun. I'm going to see how they use him. I think he can be effective on this team. For their sake, I hope he 29.
29. Yeah, he got 4 more years of,
He's somewhat up there in the running back category, but if they flank him out, he'll be around. He played some receivers, so said what only Debo we afraid of is on the movie set. That's right. Rest in peace, that's right. And she also said it was the Rams game. Thank you. She knows exactly what play I'm talking about. So appreciate that. What was I? Oh, Debo. I think it's good for them. It's good for them. You give Jaden Daniels another weapon. Will his personality mesh? Who knows? I mean, I'm not going to dwell on it. It's not one of our teams. I don't care. We may have some viewers from down there. I definitely sent them the link, so we might have some viewers from down there. So to my friends down there that are Commanders fans, congratulations. Y'all got Debo Samuels. Second place in the NFC East will probably feel good again for you. So don't even worry about it.
If you put Debo Samuel in the NFC Championship game, I think he would have just added maybe 3 more points.
Yeah, I mean the Eagles were on a roll at that point. Like they were on a mission at that point.
Like I said, I tell certain people in my circle, like when it comes to the, because the biggest thing in an offseason like this is like, oh my God, things are going to change. And I know that Jalen Hurts is going to have his 5th offensive coordinator, his 6th QB coach or whatever. But I said, as long as the defensive side is cool, I'm fine. I don't care what happens on offense, because this past season, it was all about the defense. The defense won us this championship.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down. I mean, granted,
absolutely.
The Chiefs' only strategy was, okay, we're not going to let Saquon beat us. And, Jalen did his thing. Mm-hmm. But it was the defense that surprised, that shocked the world, even though it shouldn't have been that shocking. But all of the coaches are staying. And even I think the person that they upgraded on the offensive side as a coach, he's an older coach, so he might be around for a little bit. He doesn't want a head coaching job. And that's what we've been needing, just consistency and, coaches that aren't looking for the next quick big gig,
Yeah. You want guys that'll stick around for a little bit, keep your program consistent, keep your franchise consistent. I guess in college it's a program, but in pros it's a franchise. Yeah, Debo saying whatever. Okay, fine. Miguel, you put this in here. University of Georgia unveils $20 million revenue sharing breakdown. And I know you put this in there for a reason. So break it down for us. What's going on?
I mean, it was funny reading about, and I meant to post it in the slide deck, but the University of Georgia, or Georgia, was a University of Georgia Tech. I always get the two confused. But University of Georgia, they basically gained $20 million of revenue, and on their site they actually had a breakdown of what and how they're divvying up the money. So on the football side of things, they are putting 75% of that money in a revenue sharing pool, which is about $13 to $17 million. 15% is going to the men's basketball team, 5% is going to the women's basketball team, and 5% is going to all other sports for the university. $2.5 million is also being allocated for creating scholarships. And so the percentage breakdown, this is the big thing now, because now players get paid. So the figures are football players would receive on average of about $150,000 to $165,000 for over it's about 105 eligible athletes. For the basketball players, they would average 215,000, which is about 15 eligible athletes. And then athletes in all other sports would receive significantly less, so it would average about $4,500 per athlete.
And this is
like
going
$4,500 for the seat for the year
for all other sports.
So
like
I missed something. I missed something here. So the money that you're saying per athlete, you're just saying that the team has gotten this money. You just kind of broke it down per athlete, or
per athlete, yeah, per athlete per
athlete getting this money, right?
Per athlete per sport, yeah, because the way that this is the way the $20 million is being broken down. It's 75% of that is football, 15% is going to men's basketball, 5% women's basketball, and 5% other sports. And then that last number.
Amazing that you have 5% are going to two teams each, and then 5% goes to all the other programs.
I mean, but here's the thing.
Well, because it's about who's bringing in the revenue.
Right. I'm going to say the basketball team's bringing the revenue. So I'm guessing there might be some revenue sharing coming from them as well, maybe. I mean, I'm not asking you, but I'm saying maybe, because from basketball and football, really, they're the driving financiers behind a college athletic department.
So in most cases, I would say like 75-80%. But if you look at like the Southeast and like the Southwest, I would argue that baseball's kind of like LSU. Baseball can make a good argument because LSU is like the Yankees of college baseball. Right. Auburn, I think it alternates between baseball and football. Sometimes football is dominant, than baseball. Then you get into like your Tennessees. Then that's pretty much baseball and football. So it varies, but
so I agree with what you're saying, but I disagree with the fact that I don't know. I'm just pulling this out of my behind for real. I don't think the football revenue and the baseball revenue for any school is close to equivalent. I'm talking about the big schools, excuse me. The big school, SEC schools, the Tennessees. And I mean, look at the stadiums the football teams are filling.
Right. No, you're right.
Compared to the baseball. And then you have, the organizations that advertise with the football team is nowhere close to the organizations that are advertising with the baseball team.
Right. And that makes sense with what you said, because I remember my first year in Maryland, the football team, University of Maryland football team wasn't really good, but the baseball team started, I think they made the regionals like in back-to-back years. And I think they were one game away from actually making it to the College World Series tournament. And they actually managed to take some of the revenue they got from the TV and actually added extra stands in the outfield. So it added like maybe 2,000, 3,000 more people. Whereas right across the street, there's this stadium that seats like 85,000. So they don't have to worry about that.
And I've played in that stadium, and I know you've coached in that stadium.
Yeah.
And that stadium looks over on the baseball field like, hi, you're cute.
It literally says that
over that baseball stadium.
It's like you could be looking at first base and you're just looking up like, whoa, I didn't know seats go that high.
Right. And those are, and that's not even the biggest stadium in college football. So
right.
It's just like, wow. And when I know when I played there, there was not a lot of spectator seating when we're talking 25 years ago. There was not a lot of spectator seating out there.
At University of Maryland?
Yeah, I mean there was some, but it wasn't a whole lot.
So did they have
that I can remember?
Did they have the stadium seating like between first and third base? Like was it because that's what it is now. It's just like It's like leather bleach seating.
I'm not. Seating. So that's I don't remember. I feel like they may have had it behind the plate.
Okay.
Maybe there might have been some like bleacher benches.
Gotcha.
First and third base side, but it wasn't like it wasn't like at a minor league stadium. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's tiered up. I would say when it at its capacity, it could probably fit about like 2,500 people just in that area. And then they added the 2,000 seats in the outfield, so you're talking like 5,000 to 6,000.
Yeah, I don't think they had outfield seating at all when I played there.
And they still don't, but they were able to add it because of the fact they were generating money from being competitive. And I think it was back-to-back years, and then I think the coach left to go to a better school, but I can't remember where.
Well, I'll tell you what I do remember. I remember every time they hit a home run, they played that "You Dropped a Bomb on Me" song. I never heard that so many times in my life. I tell you that. over what was it, 2 games we played, 2 or 3 games we played there? Yeah. And funny story real quick, and then we'll move on. So everybody knows Ryan that joins us on the show sometime. He wasn't in school yet. He was actually watching the game at home. He told me this later on that the first game he saw us get our behinds kicked by Maryland and them hit 100 home runs on us. And they even bothered showing the second game of the doubleheader on TV. So
dang, they changed the programming on y'all. That's a shame.
I don't know if they were supposed to or not, but yeah. That's what happened. Miguel, we have 19 days to opening day. 16, 19.
Something like that. Either way, it's too early.
Let's just say I'm close enough. And there's some interesting things happening in Philly spring training. Can you tell us a couple of those things that are interesting while I drink this juice I have, right? I have peach iced tea. I don't like it.
So why are you drinking?
I thought I was like drinking. Just I don't like it.
Are you drinking it unsweetened?
No, it's sweetened too.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, it tastes like cardboard. But go ahead.
Oh, geez. So just a couple of nuggets. So one of our newest acquisitions, Mr. Jesus Luzardo, who's the lefty from the Marlins. He had, I think, Justin, you kind of were very concerned about the fact that he had back and arm issues. Mm-hmm. But they seem to all be resolved. He says that his arm feels alive. And he topped out at 98 on this fastball. So last year, I think he was around like 94, 95. And that's usually how you can tell someone's going through an arm injury or arm fatigue, which we saw with Ranger Suarez. But he's feeling good. He feels like he has command, and that's usually a great sign. Now, of course, Taijuan Walker, who was kind of brought in to be a number 2 from the Mets, failed miserably. And in the game that me and my niece went to at Camden Yards last year, he gave up 2 bombs to Mr. Santander. And they weren't just bombs. They were just like obliterated. Like, it's one of those things like you hear it and then you just turn around and look at the person next to you and you're like, that's gone. He's actually topping out. So prior to last year, his sinker, his off-speed pitches, or his number 2 and number 3 pitches would top off at like 94, 93. Last year, they were topping off at 89. So, and I think he had some issues towards midseason, just was giving up bombs left and right, and, got relegated to the bullpen. And, but he's topping off at about 96, 97, and his off speed is up to like what it used to be before he came over to the Phillies. Now, having said that, first game in spring training, second pitch, he gives up a home run. So, but you can't put too much stock in spring training because it's spring training. So there's
and
one.
Also heard it was windy. I'm sorry, I heard it was windy.
Right. But there's only one spot left in the Phillies bullpen. The starters are pretty much set, so he would either be coming in as one of those tweener spot starter, long reliever guys. But I don't know if he has many options left or any options left. So he would either be relegated to DFA, being designated for assignment, possibly traded, or just stay on as a reliever. One position that I'm really looking at is catcher, because you've heard about, JT Realmuto possibly moving to first base or playing some games in the outfield. I'm looking forward to see Rafael Marcán behind the plate, because he's got a better arm than Garrett Stubbs, and he's only like 24, 25, and he's a switch hitter, and he always seems to hit really well when he comes up to the big league. So he, I think, would be an ideal replacement, because, Realmuto is in the latter years of 30, which is usually the downside for catchers in Major League Baseball. One last thing, Gabriel Rincones Jr. is opening some eyes. He already has 4 home runs, and he's a rookie. And his swing is very similar to Bryce Harper's, but he's confident, and he's smooth, and he's big. He's like 6'4", like 205. So pay attention to that name coming down the line.
What position does he play?
Gabriel Rincones.
No, I said, what position does he play?
He's an outfielder. And he's a lefty.
Here's what I hate about the business of baseball. Be good, and a lot of times, depending on the situation, they won't bring you up until you're 24.
He's 24, exactly. So he's 6'3". He bats left, throws right. He's 225 pounds. He hit 252 with 11 home runs and 32 RBIs last year.
Is he homegrown? Is he?
Yes, he is homegrown.
And did he just get good? Like, what did he just kind of?
So in 23, he batted 248. His power went. He went to batted 248. He had 15 home runs and 60 RBIs with 2 minor league teams. I want to say single A, double A. He's probably still in double A. So his batting average went up 252. Fewer home runs, fewer RBIs, but he also played fewer games. So I think he might have been injured part of the way through. But
what is the chance we see him in the Phillies outfield opening day? Does he have a shot?
No, you won't see him opening day. This is probably just a nice little dress rehearsal for him to get some extra at bats, but he's probably going to be one of the last to go down to the minors once the Phillies get a good look at him. But I don't see him. He's not going to be on the opening day roster, at least not this year. I would probably lean towards next year or the season after, or he could be used as trade bait, because you know how minor leaguers and baseball, I don't know. Minor leaguers are kind of like they're chips in trades. You know what I mean? That very few of them ever pan out. You remember when we traded for Roy Halladay?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I hated the trade because we traded 2 players, Mike Taylor, who was supposed to be like, he was this big dude, African-American outfielder hitting bombs, and then Kyle Drabek, who was the son of the great Doug Drabek. I was like, oh, you can't trade it. Drabek played 1 game in the major leagues, blew out his shoulder 4 years in, and Mike Taylor he only played 1 season in the majors. He blew out his arm. One season.
Game.
No, 1 season, but he blew out his arm very early in his career, and he was done. And then Mike Taylor bounced around and never became what everybody thought he could. So,
well, yeah, the minor leaguer thing, it's always interesting to me in baseball, how you'll throw in the prospects in a trade, in a big time trade, and the teams hope these people pan out, and so many baseball players that don't pan out. And just by panning out, I'm talking about get to the majors and stay there. the ones that you see all the time are extremely good. That kind of goes to show you how many. There are thousands and thousands of professional baseball players in the United States. And just think about what I said. There's thousands and thousands of them. The ones in the majors are the only ones you hear about. They're the only ones you hear about. So that just goes to show you like how good these guys are compared to everybody else that plays the game. Real quick question for you, Miguel, about the catcher situation. Why is Rafael Marcán not the backup catcher already?
It goes back to what you said about what the Phillies like to do. He's now at the ripe age of 25, and he's finally out of options. So what that means is usually I think a player has, in the first 6 years of his career, they have like certain amount of options to come up to the major leagues and then go down to the minor leagues without there being any like mandatory penalty. So he's used all those options up basically. So basically, if the if the Phillies decide they don't want him, they either have to outright release him, put him through waivers, or trade him.
Gotcha.
So now that he's out of options, it's not a dilemma to me. It's a simple choice because I think he's a better catcher than Garrett Stubbs. Garrett Stubbs is cool because he wears a onesie during, championship celebrations. That's cute and all.
He's the clubhouse DJ from what
he's the clubhouse DJ. He wears a SpongeBob onesie. That's all cute. But when I need a replacement for a JT Realmuto, I would go Marcán. So
I would agree. Plus, he's a switch hitter. Come on, man. He never has to come out the lineup. I want to talk a little NBA real quick, and then I want to talk about the robo call, and I want to talk about that stuff too. Two NBA All-Stars, not necessarily this year. Well, one of them was All-Star this year. Out for the season. All happened within this week. Of course, we all heard about Joel Embiid. Last week, the Sixers decided to finally shut him down. And then just happened within the past 12 hours or 24 hours, Kyrie Irving is now out for the season. And we know that Luka Doncic was traded from the Dallas Mavericks to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis. And if anybody knows how I feel about Anthony Davis, I think he's a good basketball player, but the Dallas Mavericks are done.
Does Anthony Davis still have mozzarella sticks as eyebrows?
He still has the unibrow.
He has the Royal Farm steak fries as a. Okay.
Rob, there's two questions I want to ask you. One of them has not really much to do with basketball, so I ask you that one second. The first one is and I'm putting you on the spot here because I didn't tell you I was going to ask you. I just kind of thought to ask you it just now. What do you think of Anthony Davis as a big man in the league?
Not my type of big man, as a preference. The dude can hoop, but he just can't stay on the floor. Like I just don't get it. I know y'all see the memes and they got him as like Mr. Glass, but it's true. Like this dude was having a great season. Like he wasn't getting hurt to go to Dallas, and now he hurt. First game.
He did get hurt first game. You're right. I forgot.
So it's like I say the same thing that I say about Embiid. Like if something's going on every year, you're getting hurt. You cannot withstand a year. Bro, change something. Your diet, your trainer, you got to get with somebody who can help you withstand a full NBA season. Like this is crazy. Like get with TB12 or something. Call Tim Grover up. Like Maybe let me ask you this. Maybe the pliability will work for him. I don't know.
Let me ask you this, Rob. I am one person that feels like Anthony Davis is a very good basketball player, but I also feel like he is overrated. Am I justified in that thinking? And I'm asking you as a professional.
Overrated.
Or is he rated just right? Like let's put it this way. I want to say was he part of the top 75?
I think he was. He's not top 75. I don't agree with that.
I don't agree with that
but
at all.
He was on there. Like they had him on there. They had him on there and then have Dwight Howard on there. That's not. I think that was one of the biggest snubs that you can have. This guy is Dwight 3 or 4-time defensive player of the year. It's somebody who actually led his team to a championship appearance.
Mm-hmm.
I guess a little overrated, perhaps, because he hasn't done anything. And then when he was killing them, and then he started getting hurt, and then he get hurt all the time. So, yeah, I guess you could say he could technically be overrated. I mean, I wouldn't argue you down that he wasn't.
I got you.
I wouldn't debate you on it.
My other question
I'll debate you all day on how much better Joker is than Embiid.
Well, my other question for you, Rob, one that, and it was just a curiosity question. I think I thought of it yesterday or maybe today. You had an agent, right? Like, is that how? Was your agent from whatever country you were playing in, or were they like an American agent?
I started with the American agent.
Mm-hmm.
My second year, my American agent got me in Mexico by way of an Argentinian agent. During that time I was in Mexico, me and my American agent had disagreement, didn't see eye to eye, and the Argentina agent had already had a job lined up for me after Mexico, which ended in December, to go to Argentina. So when I went to Argentina and I met him and everything, I just started rocking with him But typically a lot of guys do American, but now, so in FIBA now, if you're an agent that's not in that country, you have to go through an agent from that country. So any of these American agents that you see that are placing players in foreign countries, they have, I guess you could say, a handler agent from that country. Like that agent puts it together, and then that agent gives the American agent their cut.
Gotcha.
They split the commission.
People putting their hands in the pot. I was just curious. That just crossed my mind yesterday. I was like, I wonder if he had like a because I know you speak Spanish, so it's funny in the group chat today. I guess you you did something, and the whole thing came back to us in Spanish. So I was like, what the heck?
Oh,
I know he didn't. You said what?
I don't know. I was saying what did Santa Candy Easter?
He was like, I know there's a heart in there, so that means he loves something.
I thought I just liked the picture. I don't know what happened.
So what happened? So I guess you have an iPhone, Rob?
Yeah.
So what happens, I think, with Androids and iPhones when there's a group chat, for whatever reason, instead of the when you like the picture, it coming up on the picture, it comes to us as a text message that you like the picture. For whatever reason.
I like it. Yeah. Hold on, wait. Are both of y'all Android users?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes, you are the oddball in this relationship.
Nah, I'm the eyeball. I'm screwing up the chat.
Just know. Yeah, you are screwing up the chat because Apple is a communist regime. Because they're getting sued, right? For all the crap that they done stole and the fact that they try to make. I don't hate iPhones, okay? That's my niece. I don't hate iPhones. I just know the truth about them, okay? I hate Apple.
Listen, I will say this. I don't dislike Androids. I don't think that like your iPhones are better than Android. I think it's just a preference. I don't think you can go wrong with either one. But I do give the Androids, like the Samsungs, their credit. A lot of the stuff that they come out with the features before the iPhone. iPhone comes out with it later, but because iPhone has the more, they do a better job of marketing and the popularity than like the Galaxy and all that. They're just the cooler guys on the block, basically.
What app? They're not cooler. I take that cooler and punch them in the face. Apple made their money off of freaking Angry Birds, and then they owned the iTunes market, and that's what made Apple. That's what made iPhones. That's it.
But it's also. I don't know. I guess this is kind of
you're the reason.
I guess it's on a case by case basis. But I feel like because I'm using it all the time, I just feel like it's easier to navigate, like the iPhone, like with the App Store and all this of the Android. It just seems more difficult, and then they don't even have. Sometimes they don't have all the apps that you want.
But you know why that is? It's because of the legality. We can talk about this all night, but it's because legally they can't be on both platforms because of Apple's pre-1600 ways. They're making the developers slaves, and they're not allowed to be on multiple platforms. That's why they're getting sued, and they're probably going to be banned in Europe by the end of the year.
But I think that what needs to happen for like Android and PCs, I need the security to be better. Like nobody likes to have to download antivirus and Norton antivirus and all that crap. Nobody wants to do that, man. It's a headache.
The last time you know what it is? Stop searching bad stuff. You don't need antivirus stuff. I haven't used antivirus on any of my computers, my personal computers, in like 10 years. Because I don't search for I don't mean bad stuff like midgets and chocolate or anything. I mean like just like clicking on like
you can't say midgets, Miguel.
Excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry, little people. That makes it sound so much worse. Little people and chocolate. No, but like downloading like an application that is from like a really bad site or whatever, just stuff like that. Yeah, I think it. Shut up, Dara. I just think it just gives it's.
I'm still laughing.
You're still on the midgets and chocolate.
I lost all track of what was going on here. Let's change the conversation. Are we still talking about Androids? I don't even know what we're talking about anymore, but let's talk about robo umpires because Miguel's going to stump me today. And,
oh wait, did I miss the question of the night? Did y'all did that to start?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. But I wanted to just do it up there, just real quick on a rule change that is probably going to annoy all baseball fans. I think it's the first clip. This one.
It will absolutely, and it is. I'm about to pop it in. It will absolutely. If you're a baseball fan, if you're a baseball player, it's going to drive you nuts. But here we go, right here.
Kelly goes, and it'll be strike him out, throw him out to end the inning.
I was wrong.
Oh, no.
Yeah, check this out.
The tag was in time, but we were talking about the new rules. Well, one of the new rules is you cannot block the bag.
Any of the bag. You got to give the...
Yeah. I don't like this rule for the simple fact that in a situation like that, you're asking the player that's covering the bag to actually step back and give him the lane before you tag him. I don't understand why this rule is even why this was even changed. I get why they do it at home plate because catchers were getting injured at an enormously large rate. Is that your dad?
Yeah, he said, "Why don't you just say porn?"
I was thinking it, Mr. Watson. I wasn't going to say it out loud.
we were all thinking it.
Yeah, but I wanted
Stop
to
clicking on porn sites.
Because that's too easy. I just wanted to, go for the awkward. Go for the
you
good.
get caught. You try to close it out. Oh, God, all the windows gone.
Dude, this is the result of coaching for 15 years. You hear a lot of stuff from these athletes, man. They just, it's.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
But let me just say this to what you were saying, Miguel, about you're asking the guy to like kind of step back and give him the lane. I kind of disagree. Just being a second baseman, coming up playing second base a majority of my life. First of all, I don't like the rule. I think that's stupid. I think that's dumb. But I guess they're trying to make it safer. I don't know what they're trying to do, but probably make it safer. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah.
The only thing you can really do in that situation, probably the best thing that you may be able to do is straddle the bag.
But see, but
the problem is if the throw takes you somewhere else.
Right. So right. So taking that theory, right, you straddle the bag. Now it's going to look like a really wide throw. Now it's going to center field because you got to straddle the bag, or you have to position because he positioned himself in the front of the bag to the side, so that way he can kind of go here. Because because I play third base too, so it's almost like you're actually trying to block the base, and that's what you were trained to do. Foot down, or catch the ball, foot down in front of the base. And you're trying to block safely block the runner from hitting the base. I haven't seen many injuries from that. I see more injuries of players stepping on the damn bag than actually getting, trying to get swipe tagged, either stealing a base or on a force play.
Let's put it like this. So I mean, and this is probably I'll just run it real quick. Goose said that they demonstrate what it's supposed to look like. Probably not, but all they're really saying is you can't be in the way of the person trying to touch the bag. So you can't be in their way in a sense.
So what do they do at home plate now?
So home plate, they've stopped being able to block that for a while, right?
Right.
So where do you position yourself?
You position yourself in front of the plate, giving him the lane, but they've changed.
So you have to reach back and tag like that.
Right, but the original rule was you could catch the ball, you just can't be already blocking the base, which is what I was trained as a catcher to do. Like, make sure your foot is in front of the plate, make sure that your shoulder is here, so that way you're catching and blocking. They took that away, so you have to actually give him the base. The original rule was you catch it and then you could come in blocking the plate. But now they're taking away even that portion. You can't even come in and block. You just have to catch and try to tag. Now I've seen the injury. There was 2 injuries in particular why this rule was placed. There was a real nasty injury to Buster Posey, who was, I think, he was an MVP catcher for the Giants. He was a Philly killer for the 3 years that they won a World Series. And I think it was a real bad play at the plate. He reached over here. He was still blocking the plate with his left foot. and all the weight from the runner went on his left leg, and he tore his ACL, broke like his tibia real bad. Carlos Santana, who was the first baseman for Cleveland, he started out as a catcher, switch hitting catcher for Cleveland. He had a nasty injury up in Boston. Same thing. It was coming down the line, and he had his right foot blocked. He came in like this, and then the runner came in shoulder first into his knee, tore it up. He never caught again. So I get it for the catchers, but there's still only so much that you can do. Plus, catchers have equipment, but now you're spreading it onto every position that, to me, is just not warranted. It's not necessary. You got bigger bases. That's what the bases are literally what, 2 inches,
something like that. Yeah.
So 2 inches whole. Like you got.
And it's not a point. So you're not. Players aren't as gung ho. Like, yo, I need to get there. You know, like when you're going home, you're like, yo, I'm about to blow this dude up. I gotta get to the
right.
Point.
Right.
You know, this is for an actual run. But like if I'm just still in second or something.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a slide, but I'm not trying to, you know.
But I think this is right. This is going back to my original theory about ever since legalized gambling has been in the forefront, you're starting to see all the rules changes for offense because every league wants more scoring.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball shot themselves in the foot by going too far to the left with analytics. Now they're trying to say, oh, yeah, we still do analytics, but we're trying to bring back old school baseball because old school baseball scores runs. Analytics makes the game longer, more depressing, and you want to commit suicide by the 5th inning.
Damn. I never felt that way, but all right. You might want to get checked out just in case. Or don't watch baseball anymore if you feel that way. I'm worried. I'm concerned. Blink twice. Okay. The ABS system, the call of the week. This was pretty good. This is pretty good. And this is where the thing is going to get very interesting. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and put this up there.
Before you play it though, it's interesting that it confirmed the call.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
here you go. Here we go.
Coach. The 3-2 strike 3 call.
Challenge time.
He is challenging. He was not happy about that call, and it is a strike, just barely. I mean, that one couldn't be closer. They're showing it on the screen here.
So yeah, so you're talking about game of inches. That's what it's gonna. That's the accuracy we're talking about with this ABS system.
And Miguel can vouch for me. When I teach the game, I say all that has to happen is a piece of the ball needs to get a piece of the strike zone for it to be a strike. That's all that has to happen.
And just like fair or foul, it just has to hit a piece of the chalk. And it's a fair ball.
Yep.
That's it.
Unless you're playing MLB The Show, and then all bets are off.
Speaking of which, we have to finish our series.
We have to play. Miguel's up 3-1 on me. I finally got a win after like 30 straight losses. I finally got one. So finally, I think he let me win. I think he didn't want the series to be over yet.
No, it was that. No, my guys are in a slump.
Good. Let's hurry up and play again then. While they're slumping. I think it's time. Do you wanted some other stuff to play, right? Did you want me to play this?
No, we're good because that just it. I mean, it's kind of a funny thing. Yeah, I mean, you can hit it up real quick. It just points to two things that are probably the most hardest and complicated things in all of life.
And especially according to Chad Johnson. Here we go.
The two most difficult things in life are hitting the baseball and keeping a woman happy long term. The two most difficult things in life. You hear me? Very. So the fact that
bullpen coach.
The 3-2 strike, 3 call.
Hit the wrong doggone button.
Well, I 100% agree. I've seen y'all remember, have y'all been down to that simulation at the the Baltimore Harbor where they had that simulation at the ESPN zone? It was like Roger Clemens fastball.
So I never went to that one, but I went to the one that was at the convention center when the All-Star game was in Philadelphia. And they had a whole
I stepped in that thing. I was excited when I touched the ball. I nipped it. Oh, I was like, "Oh, you see that?"
He's like, "I foul tip Roger Clemens."
Listen, and I was a solid hitter. You know what I mean? I was a good hitter. I mean, but
you never tried out for the Vikings.
Yeah, and that's what people got to understand. It's like people don't understand how difficult for Michael Jordan to play at the level he played after not playing baseball since high school.
Yeah.
Was it high school? He played high school. I don't even think he played in high school.
I think it was high school. It was high school, I think.
They don't understand, it's hard, especially if you're not used to standing in the box anymore with a ball coming at you 90 miles per hour.
And moving.
Just it's scary. Like it's scary.
It's
you
crazy.
Like this and they go.
It's crazy that you bring this up because we had there's a conversation on the radio just today about athletes being able to go to another sport, and they were saying like you can see a football player going to basketball, or maybe a basketball player going to football, but you don't really see people going from football to baseball or from basketball to baseball. You don't really see that because the skill set is totally different in a lot of different cases.
And people I think people who don't know baseball are the people who are like, oh, Michael Jordan was horrible at baseball. He should have just left it alone. He wasn't horrible, bro. I don't think y'all don't understand. I don't think people understand what it takes.
Can I add to what you say, Rob? Can I add to that?
I did that. Yeah.
They everything you said, plus I think they thought that Michael Jordan was going to be as great at baseball as he was at basketball. He was an average baseball player. Maybe batted slightly below average. I don't really remember, but he was an average baseball player. He wasn't a star baseball player, but hell, he ain't played in years, and he was playing professional baseball.
Most minor leaguers don't make the MLB. So if you're a minor league baseball player, you're a really good baseball player. Exactly. It's kind of like when people say, like, when they talk about the 12th man on the roster in NBA, and they're like, oh, they suck. And like that guy who challenged Scalabrini, and he just roasted him. Like, bro, just because they the 12th man on the NBA bench, like, we're talking about the best players in the world. Like, this dude was the guy in college. Like, every guy that's the guy in college doesn't go and become the guy in the NBA.
Right.
Ask Adam Morrison. Ask Kurt Thomas. Kurt Thomas led the country in points and rebounds. People don't know that because Kurt Thomas didn't do that in the NBA. But Kurt Thomas was a problem. People don't understand. Derek Coleman was a top. I mean, he saw some good success. He was an all-star in the NBA. But when you look at what he did in college, like, people, man, listen.
If you look at what he did in college, you would be surprised that people don't talk about him now in the NBA because he just didn't have the same. He just didn't have the same NBA career that he had college career, but he had a really good NBA career. But you never hear his name now, unless it's about some stories that whatever he's doing stuff in Detroit and stuff like that.
The list goes on. Yeah. I could sit here and name tons of people. Kerry Kittles was that guy in college. He was okay. He was okay in the NBA.
Yeah. Kerry Kittles told me to move over one time.
Khalid El-Amin didn't last that long. Then he wound up going to Turkey. I saw him in Turkey. He was in Turkey when I was in Turkey.
I used to call myself Khalid Al-Bean because my nickname was Bean. So, yeah. When I was on the court, Khalid Al-Bean. That's right.
Yeah, that's great. Oh, the O'Bannon brothers.
O'Bannons. Yeah. All right.
Ed O'Bannon.
3-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger, 1997 World Series, played for the Phillies. Darren Dalton.
Woo! Dutch, he's on a roll.
Dalton.
Dude, that's 3 in a row.
Dutch. Yo, Darren Dalton was probably like my favorite Philly back in the day.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I probably have. My first day when I worked at Sportsnet, my very first day, I didn't have a badge yet, right? So I had to go in and I did, front desk, then somebody to come and get me. While the dude went to go get the person to come and get me, you couldn't get into the rest of the place. Darren Dalton walks in. Me and Darren Dalton stuck in the lobby together. And I'm just like, I'm 20-something years old. And I'm like, Darren Dalton. He looked at me and was like, all right.
Yeah. I heard he was always like that. He was like that earthy, kind of like far out dude. And
yes, he definitely had that vibe. That was pretty dope that I met him. And rest in peace to Darren Dalton. But that was dope. Like my first day, and I was just like, yo, this is where I need to work. And now I'll come across an athlete and it's like no big deal because I worked there for a while and all the athletes came through there. And now I'm like, Darren Dalton.
Did I tell you guys the story when I was bouncing at the park?
Please tell us again if you haven't.
Yeah.
So after my first year, a lot of people see like my career and they're like, "Oh, you were a child." I was like, "Yo, my first year was a nightmare." I went to France. I was released after a month and a half. I went to a team in Turkey. I got released. Went to another team in Turkey. Long story short, I was home by March. Just so you guys know, that's early. You usually typically get home to like May or.
It was this your first year? You said
this is my first year playing overseas. So I'm home, and I start working at Citizens Bank Park at McFadden's. And I was working security. Now, people got to understand, I think it's because people don't watch a ton of baseball, even though baseball doesn't use a mask, right? Because that's one of the things in football. You don't really recognize all the football players because there's always mask on. Right. Baseball, you don't have a mask, but I don't think people watch it as much. So, and then baseball players are the most unsuspecting, like people. Yeah. They'll just be walking down the street. You wouldn't even know.
Them in hockey.
That's baseball.
Yeah.
So I'm working. We're closing up. We're not letting anybody else in. And here comes this, this small black guy, and he's like, "Oh, I'm going." I was like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "Oh, I'm going." So I was like, "No, we're closed. We're not letting anybody else in right now." And he's pulling the, do you know who I am? This and I'm like, "No, I'm sorry. No, I don't know who you are, sir. Sorry, we're closed. You're not coming in." So the manager, whoever was the spirit came up. And it's like, "Oh yeah, he goes, you know who that was?" No, I don't know who it was. It was Milton Johnson. Is that his name? Milton? No,
Milt Thompson.
Milt Thompson.
Milty. Yeah. I was like, "Bro, you're not getting in here."
He kicked out
small black dude.
He kicked out the batting coach for the Philadelphia Phillies for 10 years. You're nothing to me, Milty.
Oh my man. I met Milt Thompson one time at an event in Upper Darby. That's what's up.
I'm going to me and my niece, we're going out to what is it called? It's out in Oaks, the convention center out in Oaks. They're having the big, what is it called again?
It's the Philadelphia Convention Center. The Pennsylvania Convention Center is in Philly. The Philadelphia Convention Center is in Oaks.
That's stupid. Okay, but yeah. So going out there Saturday morning because a lot of the Eagles are going to be out there, coaches, players, to possibly, take pictures, get autographs and stuff like that. So we'll be out there. And I've never been a big like, oh my God, I gotta get autographs. Like I'm more of a I'll take pictures of people, but like I just never like went and sought autographs. You know what I mean? Just never been that type.
I'm not going to store it. I don't know where I'm storing it. I'm going to lose it anyway. You put it on paper.
Yeah.
I read the picture.
I've lost the majority of autographs that I have. I remember getting Randall Cunningham's autograph 2 years in a row, and I have no idea what those things are today.
I'm not an auto. I don't get all. I did see Dominic Wilkins the when I was in Vegas when we were getting married. I didn't know he was that. Like he's a lot taller than I am. He's like a legit 6'9", 6'10".
Wow.
Dominic Wilkins. And I got to take a picture with Dominique.
I have two autographs that I can tell you right now off the top of my head that I know what they are. There's two other ones. 3. I got Elton Brand's autograph. I actually got Chrisette Michelle's autograph. But I have Armand Gilliam's autograph my dad had got me. And he also got me Scott Steiner's autograph. I still have both of those.
You don't got you a spoon? You got your Clarence Weatherspoon?
Yo, you know what? I think I had his autograph at one time. I think I did, but I don't know. I don't know. Man, all right. I get. We out. I feel like we forgot something, but I guess not.
The All-Star game question I saw popped up.
No, that was. I had the wrong thing up there. I'm glad you had said something because I changed it right after you said something. Look it out. So don't even worry about it.
But I'll answer it anyway. They should do like baseball. Whoever win the All-Star game gets no matter what the seed is, West hosts, gets home court.
Do they do that
in the finals?
I never liked that for baseball.
No. But it gives them something to play for.
No, I agree with you with like for that. Like they're giving something to play for. Like it's a good reason, but there's a lot of guys in there that know they ain't gonna be in the finals. Like they may not go as hard as some of the other. You know what I mean? That's true. I don't know what you do, man. You have to change it's the player. I wouldn't mind seeing the United States players versus international players.
Yeah,
because I guarantee international players are going to play hard.
We've done that. That's how it is overseas. Like
how did that work out? How did that go?
Oh, we going at it. Yeah. Because my thought process was like, yo, I don't want these dudes thinking that they better than us. Because mind you, we're coming over there, we're making the most money, and sometimes they can resent us.
Oh yeah, I
believe they don't want to pay. So we want to be clear that there's a reason why y'all call us over here.
Mm-hmm.
And there was times where cats know I don't play them games, man. Like we go there. We go to Mar del Plata, which is like the Miami of Argentina, and all these guys go out. They take it as a break. Like, no, I'm fine, have fun, but they're getting plastered the night before. We gotta play a game, and I'm like, yo, bro, and they looking at me, yo, Rob, chill. No, bro, we need to whip they. Like y'all think it's a game, man. This is not a game, but see. That's why I say it's the players, because I changed their mindset. They were like, yo, whatever. I'm like, yo, listen, I don't care what you do. Go out, have fun. Just know that when you get on this court, like I ain't playing no games with you. Bring it or sit you behind over there on the side and let the people who going to play. Because we not about to come out here and let these dudes win again. Because they won before. I've been on team and I was pissed. Like, yo, man, why you so mad? Bro, what you mean? Why? Like
Rob out there being a leader.
People don't understand what that did. You remember when we lost we lost the world championship to. I happened to be in both places when we lost the Olympics. I played on the hills of that in Argentina. We lost to Argentina, and I was in Spain when we lost to Spain in the World Championships.
Wow.
They don't understand. That's why I have a little bit of, of a grudge towards NBA players too. That y'all so selfish. Y'all don't understand. We got to deal with that crap. We over here and they poking their chest out thinking that they don't need us, and we got to deal with that. You know what I'm saying? So now our contracts can be affected. Like that's what I don't understand, man. I'm like, yo, bro, come out here, fellas. Like, show the rest of the world what it is.
So I'm thinking you would be in favor of a U.S. versus the world.
I would love to see it.
Game.
I would love to see it because now pride kicks in.
Right.
Now the pride kicks in, because even if you didn't do that, let's say they didn't do that, they kept it as it is. It has to come from the player, bro. It went that way because Kobe Bryant was coming out there. Okay, you can come and laugh and kiki. All right, I'm gonna drop 50 on you, and I'm gonna let you know about it. That's what I used to do in practice. If I felt like practice was lagging, and you're behind, you're the backup center, and you want to go through the motions, I'm gonna embarrass you, and I'm gonna let you know about it too. I'm gonna dunk on you. I'm gonna put the sack on you. All of that. And then I'm gonna yell at you, and I'm gonna talk trash. And I'm not a trash talker in the real games, but in practice, I talk.
Yo, I'm gonna ask you this in the cleanest way possible because I've never experienced it because I'm 5'4" with my shoes on, and I've never dunked on anybody. Do guys that dunk, do they be trying to put they try to put that on your neck? Like, do they really?
If you happen to be standing under the rim, it's a little extra, like.
Oh.
It's a little extra.
Oh man, we got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here, man. Short people need to find some way to
baseball.
we baseball. All right, we're gonna get out of here, man. We appreciate y'all. Next week podcast.
I say this in the most heterosexual way. I've teabagged my fair share.
Funny, Robert. You don't seem like a tea sort of guy.
I'm mad Rob pre-paused that, John. He hit us with a pre-pause.
Wow.
All right. We gonna get up out of here, man. We appreciate y'all hanging with us here on the Check Swing Podcast with myself, with the Brains and Brawn, Miguel, Coach Santa, and with the Hall of Famer Rob Battle. We'll talk to y'all next time here on the Check Swing Podcast. We appreciate y'all. Be cool.
Good night.